Hello everyone, thank you very much for your attention in my talking today, which emphasize the relationship between biodiversity and ecosystem service for sustainable development in the higher education. Because it's the first step important of analytical and consideration in face the challenge to approach theory for improved understanding and progressive, and then thoughtful synthesize classify the thinking system expect to participate in paradigm shift. Infer the potential of human behavior evolve in complexity situation in both the present and future. Because diversity and ecosystem service related is pinpoint critical indicate to human needs survival before well-being in sustainable development. But if consider the definition of sustainable development, we will meet ambiguity prevention contribute profits mostly positive from exploiting goods and service of ecosystem service. That indicates many issue argument in the decade and made the higher education step up to the role important of leadership while supporting navigator for a stepping stone to sustainable development in senior local through national. But where the role leadership comes with a question about competence management of the higher education. However, depending upon the difference between developing and developing country, if we are talking, when I'm thoughtful classify about the thinking system which enhancing the paradigm shift to the potential of human behavior to evolve in sustainable development, because thinking system will promote shared perspective and behavior on a time scale in solving problems for ecosystem service management, undertake the condition with people or on people. My study area has a habitat type according to the definition of the urban forest, and monospecific forest is the mixed deciduous forest cover on the mountain and many fragmentation that have aspect independent distribution. Specific memo. Basically, diversity interaction that impossible split to the urban forest has aspect independent distribution on spatio-temporal dynamics. Specific memo. So, after thinking carefully about the diversity pattern, I'm determined to suppose two perfect evenness to mammal of each species appear on their habitat format constant, give as value each species as the blue and not reciprocal becomes log-based to transformation, providing to grammar and R analysis. For species diversity pattern study, I'm divided two sections as follows. So I'm using a systematic camera tab design total of 60 points to cover the study area for mammal diversity pattern study, and subfunction picture mode and operate 24 hours through 30 days, 30 nights. For example, mammal species appear in their habitat from a total of 11 species. For birth diversity study, I'm using randomized rating for settle birth misnet total of 70 points, and each point spends 12 hours per point and per days. Total 3 days and all total 600 hours. For example, bird species appear in their habitat from a total of 20 species. In this section, for the forest structure condition study, I'm designing a typical plot size of 400 square meter, and for each plot, I'm random interior for plot size 40 square meter. The objective for forest inventory measurement. So because of the mountain have a variance elevation, it's necessarily used to match for correctly and accuracy in height and canopy measurement. Because we'll be taking effect to assign to the forest structure condition. Consequently, when supposed to perfect even for mammal of each species, that proof can predict null hypothesis testing in quantity is less significant. In the principle of MacArthur in 1972, and does not affect diversity induction. Likewise, the result of birth case aspect-dependent distribution, because diversity is not dependent upon density or case abundance. For the forest structure condition, it can indicate about ecosystem service capacity for supplying to extinction. Moreover, useful to estimate the proportion of landscape for sustainable development, because not the whole of ecosystem service provides profits, especially when human playing dominant management with suggest implicit trade-off and synergy probability. The result image unacceptable imperfect because K value fluctuate with seasonal, and then monospecific forest, and density, and habitat types for agricultural in their habitat. That takes effect to K value too. However, the result of this section can elucidate insight is an info ecosystem service capacity in next step of the research about ecological niche. Finally, this diagram shows which consequence from learning outcomes is what, why, and how about the relation of biodiversity and ecosystem service, which look like a paradox. It is important in both direction and indirection for response preset to stakeholder involvement. Nonetheless, human demonstrate action-reaction activity variance through perspective with back and forth constantly between diagram for biodiversity maintain sustaining ecosystem service. So actually, viewpoint of ins and outs of species in the principle or policy of sustainable development, that it is possible most maneuver psychology marketplace in the monopoly game. By regarding contemplate synthesis and propose a summary of 5 measures that should be possible the key mechanism of human behavior in sustainable development. In my assumption on fundamental of Maslow hierarchy of human needs, any possibly radical from 2 theoretical included modernization and dependency theory. Both these theories had the broad conflict from action-reaction motivation to inequality of trustee regime management for accessible reward in ecosystem service. At the end, above all can developing progress and misleading. Thank you very much for your attention, please.